How's it going? It's Sean Bradshaw from cyberfret.com, and in this lesson I'm going to show you a little holiday classic, Jingle Bell Rock. So we're going to start off with a little intro riff, and then I'll kind of go through the chords and strums that happen in this tune. Alright, so this kind of starts off with a little intro riff here. We're going to be up here on the neck with your first finger on the first string at the 14th fret and second finger on the second string at the 15th fret. And we're going to be playing those two strings. Alright, then your first finger is going to be barring across the first and second string at the 14th fret, but you're going to do a little slide up. You're going to go. So that first part here is. Then back to that first shape with your second finger on the second string at the 15th, first finger on the first string at the 14th, but this time you're going to slide that one up. So we have. Then you're going to take your pinky, put it on the first string at the 17th fret, and you're going to be playing both. Your second finger is still down on that second string at the 15th fret, and you play both the first and the second string. So, second finger is going to stay where it's at. First finger is going to drop to the third string at the 14th fret. And you're going to play the third and the second strings together. Then, third finger goes to the 16th fret on the third string, and pinky goes to the 17th fret. And then you're going to take that and just slightly bend it towards the floor. So we have this. It's actually just about a half step. You know, in the notation I have a half step, but you can just bend that towards the floor. Then play those two notes unbent. So we have back to just my first and second fingers. And then I'm going to move down the neck here to the third and second strings at the 12th fret, and I'm going to bar my third finger across those two strings. And then I'm going to use my first and second fingers on the 10th and the 11th frets of the second and third strings. So all together, the introduction slow goes like this. Then we have, going into the first verse, we have a little bass kind of descending. We start with the open fifth string, then the third fret on the sixth string, second fret on the sixth string, and then the open sixth string. Then we get into mostly just chords and strumming for the rest of the tune. And it starts off with a basic D chord. Now this whole tune uses what are referred to as swing eighth notes. All right, so the feel here is kind of a lopsided eighth note, kind of a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So throughout this whole thing, you're just going to be strumming kind of mostly just down and up, and kind of doing a long, short, long, short, long, short, long. All right, and on beat 2 and 4, we're going to do a little bit of an accent. So it's going to be like this. So kind of on the other ones, you can kind of strum a little bit low. Maybe if I'm strumming this D chord, kind of strum the lower part of the D chord, and then when I do an accent, hit the whole thing. So that's the basic idea of the strum. And so I'm going to play through the first verse here, and then I'll kind of talk you through the chords, because there's a couple of ones that you might not be familiar with. So here is the first 8 measures, which is the first verse. All right, so basic D chord. The next chord is called a D major 7, which you're going to take your first finger and just bar across the first, second, and third strings at the 2nd fret and strum 4 strings, called a D major 7 chord. Next is a D6 chord, which is just like your basic D chord, only let go of your 3rd finger, so just 1st and 2nd fingers. Then an F sharp minor chord, and the way you're going to play it, this particular F sharp minor, is you're going to take your first finger, bar across the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings at the 2nd fret, like you did for that D major 7, but this time you're going to take your 3rd finger and put it on the 4th string at the 4th fret. We're back to D6, new chord, D sharp diminished 7th. All right, in this particular chord, you're going to have your first finger on the 4th string at the 1st fret, 3rd finger on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the 2nd string at the 1st fret, and then pinky on the 1st string at the 2nd fret. It's called a D sharp diminished 7th. Then we're on to a basic E minor chord, and then to an A7 chord, which is just your 2nd finger on the 4th string at the 2nd fret, and then 3rd finger on the 2nd string at the 2nd fret, strumming 5 strings. And it's just going to go back and forth between that E minor and A7 a few times here. And then we're on to the 2nd verse. And the 2nd verse is just about like the 1st verse, but there's a little different ending to it. So the first 6 bars are exactly the same. So we just have... And then the last 2 measures are what's different, and we go from E minor to A7, D7 or D, and then a D7. All right, which is your 2nd finger on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, 1st finger on the 2nd string at the 1st fret, and then 3rd finger on the 1st string at the 2nd fret. So the last 2 bars again are E minor, A7, D, D7. All right, and that takes us up to the next section, which is kind of a pre-chorus. And again, I'm going to play the pre-chorus, and then we'll play the chorus. And so here's the next 8 measures, and then I'll talk you through a couple of the chords here. All right, so that pre-chorus, we have a G chord, a G sharp diminished 7th chord, get a little jazzy. All right, and that one you're going to take your 2nd finger, put it on the 4th fret of the 6th string. Your 1st finger is going to bar across the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings at the 3rd fret, and then your 3rd finger is going to play the 3rd string at the 4th fret. And you're going to kind of mute out the 5th string, and then also mute out the 1st string. So from that G to that G sharp diminished 7. Now if you're having a little trouble with this particular G sharp diminished 7, here's a little bit easier one that you might try. just take your first finger, put it on the 3rd string at the 1st fret, and put your 2nd finger on the 1st string at the 1st fret and strum 4 strings. Now this one won't sound as good. This one's going to sound more full and you get that G sharp in the bass. But if you're just having a lot of trouble with that particular one, you can do this. It's kind of like that D6 chord, only just move your fingers down to the 1st fret instead of having them at the 2nd fret. And so that'd just be a little bit easier G sharp diminished 7th. All right, so we have G, G sharp diminished 7th, D, E7, which is just like an E chord without your 3rd finger. So just 2nd finger on the 5th string at the 2nd fret, 1st finger on the 3rd string at the 1st fret. Then A. We're going to kind of cut that one short. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have that same little walk down bass line we had in the beginning. And that is the pre-chorus. And now we're to the chorus. And the chorus kind of starts off like the verse. We have our D, D major 7, D6, F sharp minor. But this time we're going to stay on D6, B7, G, G minor, E7, A7, D. So let me play that whole chorus and then I'll talk you through a couple of those chords there. So. Okay, so again, D, D major 7, D6, F sharp minor, D6, B7, which is just your 2nd finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, 1st finger on the 4th string at the 4th fret, 3rd finger on the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, and pinky on the 1st string at the 2nd fret. Strumming 5 strings. Back to G, G minor. Okay, this one I'm going to take my 2nd finger, put it on the 6th string at the 3rd fret, and bar my 3rd finger across the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings at the 3rd fret. And I'm getting the 4th string open, and I'm muting the 5th string. So that's an open position G minor chord, one that you might not have seen before. One other way that you could try this one is just take your 1st finger, bar across that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings, and then take your thumb and actually play that note on the 6th string at the 3rd fret. Again, I'm still muting out that 5th string. So that's a type of an open position G minor chord. Then E7, A7, and D. So that is the chorus. And then for verse 3 is exactly like verse 2 was. And then after we're going to play verse 3, we're going to jump back. We do the pre-chorus again and do the chorus, but what happens is we only play 6 measures of the chorus before we do what's called a coda, which is a kind of a special ending. So we do this. And where before it just went, we're going to go to a coda, and you see in the music here it says to coda. Coda is an ending, and so the ending is just going to be this. We go, we just kind of repeat that, an E minor and an A7 for 3 times, and then finally end on a D. So we have. And then actually the very last chord you could just strum a D, or here's a little fancy way to end this tune, which is a D6-9 chord. All right, and for that, you're going to take your second finger, put it on the 6th string at the 10th fret. Take your first finger, bar across the 4th and 3rd strings at the 9th fret, and then put your 3rd and 4th fingers on the 1st and 2nd strings at the 10th fret. And I am muting out my 5th string.